Alright, Raceway Thunder Valley. No, we're obviously in Tulsa. There was this song. Something was happening in Thunder Valley. The stage was dominated by the kings of car races for a number of years. Then suddenly they disappeared, never to be heard from or seen again. Many people are unaware that the Street Outlaws cast members got into arguments and feuds with the Farmtruck and AZN racing scenes. The two have been vocal about their dissatisfaction ever since. But now, we will reveal to you the 5 individuals they detested the most. As we take you on a thrilling tour of the fights that took place behind the scenes, get ready to be astounded. 2 of the nation's fastest drivers, Farmtruck and AZN, were competing against each other on Oklahoma Street. Their Street Outlaws team was the most thrilling. When they emerged in their iconic 1970 Chevy, everyone knew it was time to race, so they stepped up. The Chevy's large bed truck isn't given enough credit by racers. At first glance, all you can see is its rusty paint, camper shell, dents, and ZZ license plate. Everyone in the race is unaware that the truck is the secret weapon, despite the fact that it appears to be just another one. The Chevy is not a threat, so they shouldn't rely on it. Everyone is always taken aback by the race-equipped sleeper, which is its intended effect. Going underground to race with, and their truck is one of Farmtruck's most thrilling moments. They were Street Outlaws' finest features. The show's detractors criticized it for being contrived, but they also praised Farmtruck and his friend as the most compelling and realistic characters. Nova Mordor vs. Sparky. How are you? I am driving the Mordor Nova. Alright, I understand. Many thanks. Indeed, during the street race seasons, they were entertaining and thrilling. They took great satisfaction in surprising their opponents. As soon as Farmtruck took the torch, people knew he was prepared to show them a new side of his Chevy's capabilities. Farmtruck didn't care about dents in a camper shell or outdated paint. They felt sorry for anyone who first believed their car wasn't strong enough since they knew what it could do on the racetrack. Because Farmtruck and AZN's preferred vehicle never liked them, people who played down their Chevy paid with cash. Why did they give up illicit vehicle racing if they were so skilled at it? Did they have issues with other members of Night Out? People started to question why they departed the show so soon after. Many viewers were so enamored with the pair that they immediately noticed their absence from the broadcast. Fans believed that because they were having issues with the program creators, they might not have advanced past the racing stage. The people's statements have some validity. The 2 of them, and other members of the Street Outlaws, got into a brawl. The Street Outlaws are at the forefront of speed racing. It should come as no surprise that the sport encourages competition and requires racers to put forth a lot of effort to improve their vehicles. After that, the drivers compete with one another to determine who is the best. There may be issues when competition is this intense. After all, it's a race show. Fans can therefore expect to see the cast members disagreeing and fighting with one another. Look at the folks that AZN Farmtruck disliked. In my view, Big Chief would undoubtedly be at the top of the list. On Street Outlaws, Farmtruck's most deadly opponents were people like Justin Shearer, popularly known as Big Chief. Although viewers found him to be the most uninteresting character, they couldn't get rid of him. As the show's protagonist, he constantly told everyone who would listen about this fact. In addition to being a skilled street racer on the show, Big Chief also held considerable influence over the other Street Outlaws members. He might be considered the Street Outlaws leader. He challenged the racers by making the most significant changes to the list, which allowed the true racers to win. He believed that the drivers had gotten too slack, therefore he took this action. If you want to satisfy your craving for speed, you must join the list. Who is in charge of this is obvious. You're correct, Big Chief. He was aware of how each runner prepared their callouts, and occasionally related the story, despite the fact that his name wasn't on the list. Big Chief frequently chose the protagonist and started the races. Big Chief and Farmtruck never got along, in part because of this. He always believed Big Chief was unjust and mistreated them. Big Chief wasn't always in the mood to cheer, but the crowd always did when Farmtruck did something. He came up with the list's concept in 2005. The top 10 racers' rankings were constantly shifting. It allowed competitors to challenge one another through a well-practiced, covert ceremony in the closing phases of street racing. It was a tremendous accomplishment to be on the list. Not to be taken lightly, the 10th position, which appeared to be the guardian seat, was an honor. This demonstrates Big Chief's significance to the street outlaws. The chief was more powerful, which was bothersome, but Farmtruck and AZN were the most popular. Farmtruck and AZN spoke a few things as a result of this. They discussed the injustice they had experienced on multiple occasions during the performance. They said that other racers believed their farm truck was less sophisticated than other modern vehicles. When they attempt to voice their grievances in an interview, do they come out as overly irate? A question concerning the altercation between Farmtruck and Big Chief was posed. He stated, "I learned early that every time you encounter a man who is mouthing off, hating on you, and talking trash, if you look past him, you will see a fan who loves you or a child who wants to meet you, and they can't even get to you because of this big, loud, obnoxious guy. So you have to remember that if you snap on this dude, that fan will see you do it, and they will think differently about you because they never expected you to do so. If you search diligently, you will find someone who is interested in your time rather than simply wanting to yell at you." Additionally, the feud between Farmtruck and Big Chief was exacerbated by his name. "I was constantly reminded of Big Chief's potential by him. Were you aware of Big Chief's friend? How had he escaped? Did they go to loggerheads for that reason? Perhaps Big Chief was upset with Farmtruck because it reminded him of his dearest friend." At the beginning of the Street Outlaws, Tyler Flip Pretty was more than simply a fan favorite. He was Big Chief's best friend and a streetcar racer. They got along well and couldn't be separated. It was tragic when Tyler passed away in 2013. Although the cause of his death was never established, his family said it had nothing to do with his passion for street racing. Fans believed he had died in a racing accident, so they wanted to clear the air. The 31-year-old, who had gained the affection of Big Chief and friends, passed away in a horrific accident. Big Chief received his beloved 1980 Chevrolet El Camino. He handed the car to Tyler's childhood friend Kamikaze, since he was unable to cope with his friend's passing. Kamikaze raced it and took home multiple series victories. He expressed how much he missed having her as a friend in an open letter to Tyler in 2017. "I have been a different person since you left. I have come to respect your decision, homie. I have never experienced the pain of love and loss, but I am now becoming an expert on the subject. I will see you on the other side someday. I love you." Everyone could still feel the sadness in Big Chief's remarks, even after he had passed away years earlier. Because of this, many people believe that his altercation with Farmtruck was the result of grief. Every time he saw Farmtruck and his pal, he was reminded painfully of Tyler. He might have been upset and disapproved of Farmtruck because he was no longer able to see or collaborate with his pal. Big Chief angered Farmtruck and over a different cast member. Some believe that he was removed from the show because of an altercation with another driver, Precious. Big Chief would never leave Street Outlaws, so it was difficult to believe. Let's examine the narrative to determine Farmtruck's role in this conflict. The show's focus on racing and building cool automobiles is well known to Street Outlaws fans. How does it sound without the rumbling of the cars? The group members of the show undergo a lot of transformations. There are fights, cuts, and new partnerships. Many viewers of the show witnessed the altercation between Big Chief and Precious. Some blamed it on Farmtruck, while others speculated it might have something to do with his choice to leave Street Outlaws. According to reality TV, a fight broke out between Big Chief and Precious during the new season's filming. Fans were astonished when they watched the latest Street Outlaws episode. They didn't know Big Chief's location. He never stated that he would not return to the show. Big Chief disappeared. Precious didn't like the new season, according to XTR Horsepower's regulations. She brought it up to Big Chief, but they disagreed on how to handle the situation, which led to a heated argument. Some claimed that Jackie, his wife, was also complicit in the altercation with Precious. Due to his friendliness with the female driver, there was also considerable discussion regarding Farmtruck. Women racing on Street Outlaws is not something you see very frequently. Precious was taken in and adored by an angel and a Farmtruck. The altercation between Big Chief and Precious was another reason why they had never liked him. He does appear to be concerned about the tension between him and Farmtruck. The fact that his opponent left doesn't appear to bother Big Chief. Rather, he is looking forward to the upcoming seasons of the show. That no longer interests me. Particularly in the first few seasons, I was rather afraid that we wouldn't be picked up at this stage of the game. But I don't know anything else because it's been going on for so long. Since I no longer even consider it, I would be very surprised if there weren't another season. All I can think about is preparing for the upcoming season. Fans of and Farmtruck couldn't believe it since they witnessed Big Chief initiate a fight with Murder Nova, even if his reaction revealed no weaknesses. Since Big Chief and Nova had aided one another, everyone who witnessed this believed it was an odd occurrence. Since they were the closest brothers in racing history, their split was one of the most significant upheavals. The racers did not earn millions of dollars from the broadcast, despite its high viewership. The majority of the celebrities did not drive fancy automobiles. Farmtruck frequently discussed their output issues with them. People often assume we get free rolls while making a lot of money, but he stated in an interview that the money from the show isn't going to us. I can show you the receipts for the items I purchased for my car. We don't have time to work, therefore we're working on them ourselves. We are now essentially broke. I had saved up a respectable sum of money from my little heating and air company before the event started. All of that is now gone. Farmtruck tells everyone who inquires that his pay is just slightly less than $2,000 each show. There is no fee or per diem. Could this be the cause of rumors that the show was coming to an end? Did Street Outlaws receive an 18th season, or did it terminate because of the fights among the group members? The majority of the gang wasn't thrilled with the money they received from the show. Although he appeared to be in the lead, Farmtruck wasn't the only one who struggled with a lack of funds. The possibility that the show may be renewed for a second season worried fans. They felt nauseous at the prospect of missing their favorite racers. Apart from Big Chief and Street Outlaws production, is there another member of the band that Farmtruck detested? Let's investigate. With Farmtruck, Ryan Fellows had a poor record. What was wrong with him is obvious. Actually, it's the list. Things didn't work out as planned, and they were vying with Ryan for a place on the list. Neither Farmtruck nor his pal anticipated losing against Ryan. After that, their relationship took a bad turn. However, Ryan passed away in 2022, so that didn't last long. The Street's part on the TV show ended when he died in a traffic accident. On their social media pages, Street Outlaws and Discovery informed fans about the horrific incident. The Street Outlaws star Ryan Fellows' family is devastated by the event that claimed his life. As they cope with this sudden and devastating loss, our thoughts and prayers are with Ryan's family and friends. When fans learned of his passing, they were devastated. He was among the best in the series due to his extensive race experience. Additionally, Farmtruck said Ryan farewell and praised his intelligence. Despite their altercation, he was aware that Ryan was among the greatest. Farmtruck also has a list of persons they despise, according to Chuck's citing. Because of Chuck's arrogance and poor choices, he never liked him. Despite having 12 children, his job was to fix up an old Mustang that never brought him any money. Chuck washed his filthy clothing in public when he wasn't losing races. On the show, he was always criticizing other people and his own life. Chuck's criticism of the sport animal series was constant, and Farmtruck never understood his animosity toward Bob Berries. The animosity between Larry and Jeff Lutz was another significant one in street racing history. It became unhealthy because Outlaws stars were overly competitive. There were many who believed that Larry and Jeff were not at all fond of one another. Given Farmtruck's reputation for disagreeing with other members, it was odd to see Larry and Jeff at loggerheads. They never got along with one another or any of the other members of the group when they were on the show. They didn't communicate with one another and were aloof. However, they were continuously chatting about the sport of racing. The few occasions it did occur, it didn't go well. It was horrible that they battled on the rails. They frequently injured each other with words when they had to quarrel. Despite Jeff's hard work and skill as an opponent, Larry always prevailed. They have stated that they disliked one another in addition to having divergent opinions about how automobiles ought to be built. Fortunately, their arguments never turned physical. Street Outlaws was a thrilling program on the Discovery Channel about street racing that was set in Oklahoma City. It all began with a television program on June 17, 2013. The main topic of discussion was OKC's well-known underground racetrack. It allows you to watch American racing from the driver's perspective. They take pride in the fact that their vehicles are the fastest in the nation. They had every type of vintage vehicle you could imagine. The race car drivers invested money in the sport because they were serious about it. Sincere, they were able to obtain credentials for avoiding police capture. But when it came time to race, they placed safety first on the show while wearing their woman hats. They appear alone and in pairs in the parking lot of the Emerson Big & Sports Bar in Oklahoma. While some appear anxious, others exude confidence. The only way to make the list is to beat the person in 10th place. To get here, Farmtruck and AZN battled with a member named Derek. After creating the list, you might call out the individual directly in front of you to advance up the ladder. If they allow you to win the race, you advance in level. Even if you lose, you maintain your position. You can now see why they must constantly bet and talk trash. It was a strategy to move up the list. Not only were the racers on Big Chief's list anticipated, but there was also a great deal of intrigue and deception from those on the list. As the drivers fought for the top spot, the majority of the spectators supported their favorite drivers. It started in Oklahoma City and eventually made its way to Memphis and New Orleans. Street Outlaws. No Prep Kings is even a follow-up. The spectacle is becoming increasingly captivating. The parts of the show where individuals were continuously making fun of other drivers, betting on races, and talking trash about them were well received by viewers. They come every day to play the sport and amuse the public, despite the fact that they risk their lives and face jail time. To be at the top of the race list, anything would do. The show was unknown until it was broadcast on Discovery. 2 weeks after its premiere, it was the second-ranked TV show overall. More than one. Each show was seen by 5 million people. The popularity of the show led to a swift renewal. With over 2 million viewers for the first season, interest in the second season was even higher. Before the second season ended, they had 3.5 million people watched. It turned into one of the top auto exhibitions. Many people expressed their displeasure with the show and what was upsetting them. Some viewers believed the show was contrived and phony. The fact that Big Chief initiated the race was disliked by some. They believed a more captivating and fascinating person would be in charge of the presentation. Many believe he would be more fascinating and better. He sounded like he had practiced his audio. At key points in the show, they also discussed the restrictions imposed on women. Why didn't they have some Twin Peaks females wave flags and start the races? One fan commented, "This show does a great job of sticking to gender roles for women." Top racers gathered at Midwest Street Cars in Oklahoma City for their DI cover photo, including Daddy Dave, Murder Nova, Big Chief, Chuck, and Farmtruck. The amount of money drivers had to spend just to compete also infuriated a lot of people. For example, a $10,000 offer was made to anyone who could transport their street vehicle to Oklahoma and compete against the top automobile on the list. The Street Outlaws is a company that strives to maintain its position as the top street racing team. Over the years, there have been other spin-offs, like Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings, where Ryan Martin, Daddy Dave, and Farmtruck all compete in racing. Everyone else was eager to participate in the new show, but nobody showed up. Big Chief's absence was unknown. Many were perplexed, believing him to be one of the primary characters in Street Outlaws. Even though Farmtruck caused him problems, he continued to remain busy. Big Chief was all set to play once more. He needed to clarify the air since many believed that he and Farmtruck were involved in a new altercation. "If you're street, be street. If you're not, don't be street," he stated. Since he was never the focus of the show, Big Chief has never participated in a warm-up race. Although he was present and in command of the races, NPK often did not contribute much to no-prep races. Although he occasionally registered for the event, he never did so regularly. Only a few times did he participate in the race, and each time it was for work. Though he often avoided them when they weren't needed, he assisted in gathering the information that would speed up the crow. Although he dislikes the lack of preparation, he hasn't decided to leave the race industry. "I would never leave a fight," he stated, according to his 2015 interview with Drag Illustrated. "I don't see a time in my life when I'll ever stop street racing. It will always be a huge part of my life." He took additional actions when he wanted to get away from Farmtruck and the other outlaws. It's not simply racing that he enjoys. Big Chief's Midwest Street Cars YouTube account has a large number of videos posted by him and his girlfriend, Jackie Brash. He's doing it with a woman he likes, even if it's still about automobiles. Many people had such belief until they noticed that Big Chief had actually stepped away from the popular show. Although his response suggests otherwise, many believe that his altercation with Farmtruck was the reason he was booted from the show. On his YouTube account, he ended the speculation regarding why he wasn't on Street Outlaws. The company's Race Your Way policy, which stated that the winners of specific practice races would be requested to join Street Outlaws, was something Big Chief disagreed with. The clause didn't sit well with him. While the Wayside neglected others, it always had a preference for well-known street outlaw riders. It's unclear if Big Chief was fired by Farmtruck or the production crew. However, Big Chief's subsequent car-related undertakings demonstrated to us how essential vehicles were to him. His departure from the show wasn't the only one. And Farmtruck both got up and saluted the crowd. Following multiple altercations with the cast and the Street Outlaws production crew, they decided to leave the show. When were they able to stand again? When the two buddies decided to launch their spin-off, it was a success. Their spin-off is regarded by fans as one of the most successful ever. Farmtruck, whose real name is Sean Whitley, is an avid car racer. He has always had a passion for racing. By the age of 12, he was familiar with his father's 1956 Ford pickup. The time he stood on Route 660 was enjoyable. His favorite activity was getting on the wheels and driving away at full speed. The road trip may be frightening to many, but Farmtruck and don't. They felt fantastic from the adrenaline these events provided. Before Farmtruck found his perfect match, he had to race other vehicles. He had never won until he got his Chevy. For many years, Farmtruck's best companion has been in. He handled those nasty words while Farmtruck won the races. He wanted to go behind the wheel of a ride, but he supported his friend while they were on Street Outlaws. They left the show and pursued other endeavors. The Farmtruck and an auto repair shop where individuals may purchase parts and get their automobiles fixed were brought back. For those that adore their moniker, there was also a clothing line featuring t-shirts, caps, and hats. They posted their products online, and today they have a sizable YouTube following. According to Farmtruck, he had an illness in 2016, but he is now well. A new chapter in their lives was ushered in by their prominence following the broadcast. He owns an automobile now. With his 1966 Volkswagen Beetle, which he lovingly refers to as the Dung Beetle, he can experience the exhilaration of street racing the iconic vehicle. You may be wondering how this famous machine arrived to Farmtruck. An advertisement for his 1970 C10 Chevy pickup read, "Speedy truck for sale." He saw it in Auto Trader magazine. Those opposed to him believed it was just another antiquated vehicle with no useful function. They laughed at it most of the time. They are surprised to learn that the Chevy is more powerful than it appears. This truck outperformed every other truck in the race in terms of speed and modifications. The Farmtruck isn't your typical truck, despite its vintage appearance. Its owner enjoys restoring vintage vehicles to a level suitable for street racing. Hot rodders in Reading, California, made the Chevy's frame much stronger. The vehicle rides smoothly on the street and is kept steady in the back thanks to the QA1 mod shocks. Farmtruck replaced its outdated 502 CI GM crate engine with a more recent 632 CI racing engine that produces over 1,000 horsepower with 2 nitrous espresso levels. It is employed to clear a Holley Dominator carburetor of Sunoco 116 octane fuel. This explains why the Farmtruck moves so quickly. Power is sent to the wheels via Rossler Turbo 400, a quick performance 9-inch differential, and an original 2-piece drive shaft. Its distinctive rumblings were created by Black Widow muffs and custom stainless steel works heads. When Farmtruck and an aren't battling during events, they do other things. They are interested in fishing, even if they may not tell you this. You may believe that going fishing on a regular basis allows you to spend quality time with nature and your family. There is another term for Farmtruck and his friend. They enjoy fishing because it enables them to deceive racers into placing bets by praising their vehicles and downplaying the actual power of the Farmtruck. While Farmtruck plans how to move the wheels and does the talking, best friends don't just compete for fame and fortune. They want to show everyone what street racing can be like since they truly love the sport. We don't really care and don't anticipate setting a land speed record for an electric car today. How do you feel about Farmtruck and AZN? Would any of the street outlaws get even with them? In the box below, type your thoughts. Thank you for viewing. If you enjoyed this film, kindly like and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.